अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
जय।
अवतार मेहर बाबा
बाबा
की जय।
की जय।
Beloved अवतार मेहर बाबा की
बाबा
जय।
की जय. Now, I was just thinking what to talk today. I intend to start the story of Pune Center. It was long ago. I had talked about it, that I'll be talking about the history of the Pune Center. Why especially Pune Center? Because Baba had personally taken interest in the creation of the center. Lately, there had been some sort of a discussions on this point as to when many people do not attend the center, why for the center it should be closed. And I reacted very sharply on that, because since it has been created by Mir Baba himself, who are we to close it? We don't have any authority to close it. Anyway, that's a different point. But today I'm just going to take a entire review of the early days when we were, engaged in small programs in Pune. As we know that Baba around 2015 or after that, Baba remained for 11 months in that state of ecstasy, spiritual ecstasy. And he was not conscious of his body. He was not conscious of his surrounding. He was not conscious of anything. And 11 months had passed in this state. But then thereafter, he started coming to normal consciousness gradually. And after having regained all that consciousness of his body, of his surrounding, he started talking about his experiences, spiritual experiences. And the listeners were mostly Mohammedans, mostly. Of course, there were some people from Hindu communities, but mostly they were Mohammedans, probably because they were all, they must have been attached to Babajan. And since Baba had a special place in Babajan's group, Shiva, in fact, he was the, one may say that he was the right hand of Babajan, or the successor of Babajan. Those people, there were elderly people in that group. They came to Merwan. They used to listen to whatever Merwan used to give talks about the spiritual experiences. And that was, in fact, the very story of sowing the seed of center in Pune. Thereafter, the entire activities of giving a talks on spiritual matters, that was shifted to Kasba Pet, where Baba had a toddy shop on the insistence of his mother, who was very much worried about the future of this boy. She wanted to engage him in some business, and that is how they had hired a place there, and a toddy shop was started in partnership with Behramji, one of the very close friends of Mehraban. Mehraban, he used to be called as Mehraban in those days. And then in Kasbapet also, he hired a room especially for holding spiritual programs. And all the walls of that room were decorated with large pictures of Sadhguru Upasni Maharaj, prominently placed. Thereafter, Sai Baba's picture, then Narayan Maharaj's picture, then the Tajuddin Baba's picture. All these pictures were hung on this wall. And they started meeting on every Thursday. And on special occasions, there used to be big event. Not only that, the people of early time, they joined here also, but then so many people, especially this Bhoi community, this fisherman community, they started coming to that programs, and that had become a sort of a even every week for people to gather there and have programs. Mehraban used to sing himself. He used to sing Abhangs of Tukaram and some other songs also on Ektari. Ektari is an instrument which is especially used for singing Abhangs. There is only one string to that. Now it has been modified and said so many, just sophisticated instruments like that. But then it used to be, and it was very much melodious also to play on that ektari. And on that ektari, Baba used to sing abhangs, and people used to join with him. The same activities were thereafter shifted to Ferguson Road, where all the people from this Kasbapet, they used to visit there, and they used to have a very big programs there, very big gatherings there. And Mehraban used to give all talks on spiritual matters. This was the seed which was sown by Mehraban in Pune. Or K.K. Ramakrishnan, the first secretary of Avtar Mehraban Pune Center, selected by Mir Baba himself, he used to say that, in fact, the seed of center was sown by Mir Baba himself in Pune. And in the early days, now I look at the time, around 1922, from that time up to 47, there were no collective activities in Pune. In fact, so many families were attached to Mehraban. They had in contact with Mehraban when Baba went to Mumbai, Banzilemi, and thereafter to Mehrabad. They were in contact with Mehraban, but in Pune, there were no collective activities until then. Until the time, 47, in the year 47, earlier time, there used to be bhajan programs. One person from Hyderabad, his name was Ramchandra Gaikwad. He was a very good singer, very high class singer, I would say. And he used to sing Ramayana. And so many people, group of people, used to sit late hours in the night time listening to the recitation of Ramayana. He had come on a job and he got a job in Pune. And thereafter, we know that in Bandelu family, Bandelu was a large family of the girl from that family, Subhadra, who later on married Madhusudan, she was a very good singer. And on these two, both of them, there was another person by name Sadashira Gaikwad, who had also come from Hyderabad and settled in Pune. All these people used to go to a person, saintly person by name Mali Baba. Mali Baba was the name of that person, saintly person. In fact, what I feel that he had been a medium for people to be directed to Merwan. If we study his life or his activities, he was very fond of listening to devotional songs, bhajans, and these Ramchandra Gaikwad or the Subhadra, they used to go there and they used to sing there, and he was very fond of their singing. They used to sing songs of saintly personalities like Mirabai, like Kabir, like Surdas, Tulsidas. The bhajans composed by these persons, they used to sing, both of them used to sing those bhajans. And they had a very good stock of all these songs. In the year 1947, now these were going on like that. This was going on. These people used to go to Mali Baba, they used to sing there. Mali Baba used to guide the people in their personal matters also. He was a very good saintly person. In fact, Baba knew this person, and there may be internal connections with both of them that we cannot say about it. But then certain points, certain incidents are there that Baba had recognized his service, Mario Baba's service of guiding the people to Merwan. There are certain incidents, and those people who are attached to Mer Baba thereafter, Mari Baba used to call them as Motha Garji Mans. That means people of big family, big man, people from the big man. And in the year 1947, Ramchandra Gadekar, we know all of his son is there. His father, Ramchandra Gadekar, he had served in the some big sound of the airplanes. I had to just take a little bit of unless the sound subsides, I have to wait for some time. Anyway, now this Gadekar, this had served in the Babajan school in Merabad. He had come in Baba's contact around about 23, must be 23 to 1923. And thereafter he went abroad for education. After he returned after that completion of that education, he got a service government job. And on that government job, it must be in the education department. On that job, he was transferred to Pune. And when he was transferred to Pune, his passion was just to speak about Meher Baba. He started weekly meetings at his place. And one of his subordinates, one by name Mr. Lakshmikant Thade, he was serving in the same office as Gadekar was serving. And he was subordinate to Gadekar. And Gadekar started speaking about Meher Baba. And Lakshmikant Thadi, he was much interested in the beginning. He was not much interested, but once it so happened that these young boys, this Lakshmikant Thade, his maternal brothers, they used to attend the Theosophical Society, and there they used to listen to the lectures which were conducted at that place. That society's Theosophical Lodge was run by very intelligent person, highly intelligent person, highly studied person. There were judges, there were advocates, there were big officials. They were conducting that the society, the Theosophical Society, in the name of it is her name. Anyway, so the Theosophical Society, these boys used to go there and listen to and do some job, read some books, and they used to assist the secretary of that society. Once it so happened that Gadekar gave a talk on Mehra Baba. And when this Lakshmikant Thadi, who was subordinate in his office, when he heard that lecture, he was very much impressed by that lecture. And Gadekar also was surprised that how his boy is here. And he asked him whether you are regularly attending this Theosophical Society. Lakshmikant Thadi said, yes, I regularly come here along with my younger brother and my maternal brothers. And that is how they came together. And Gadekar was taking much interest in these boys. And another lecture was by Dr. Ghani. Dr. Ghani gave a lecture on Baba's avatarhood. And that lecture was so very powerful in a very clear words. That Dr. Ghani said that Meher Baba is the Sahib-e-Zama of this time. He is the avatar of this time. And listening to this, Mr. Thadi was very much impressed. And thereafter, all that group of singers, they came together and they started having programs at different places, in somebody's houses, in individual houses, in some shops also. After the shops are closed in the night, they used to have programs at their shops also. So on Saturdays, there used to be 2 sessions. One session, I was in the hostel now. Then I had also taken part in these groups. So on Thursdays, Mr. Thade had a very big quarter that was attached to the government hostel. I was an inmate of that hostel, and I was very much favorite of Thade. I used to move with him for several programs. And since he was superintendent of the hostel, the main control of the hostel, there was nobody to take objection of my going even during late night attending the programs. That is how I was fortunate to attend many of the programs, Baba programs. And on Saturdays, there used to be a lecture by one elderly person by name D.S. Sule. His name was Sule. So a little whimsical person. But then he was very much, very staunch lover of Meher Baba. He had left his family. He had come from Nagpur. He has left his family and came and settled in Pune. And he was staying in a one ashram like temple. The lady who was taking caretaker of the temple, she used to prepare tea for Mr. Sule. Otherwise, he would take food wherever he goes among Baba people. And if he goes at, lunchtime, they will offer him lunch and he will participate in that lunch. That is how that person was living. He was receiving some amount from his family. He was little immigrant because that is why he could not adjust with their family people and he came and settled in Pune. And that person used to save little money, and out of that money he used to print very cheap paper Baba's sayings. And early in the morning, he will take cold water bath early in the morning at 4 o'clock, and then go around and put through the doors the Baba messages, papers of containing Baba's messages. That was his hobby. That person used to give talk on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And thereafter, in the night, there used to be a bhajan program. Those days, there were more of bhajans than talks. Some reading used to be there. The first book which we had taken up for reading is Sobs and Probs, written by Ramzu Abdullah. That was a very, very interesting book, very beautiful book about that the students which had different experiences being very close to Meher Baba. That was the whole account of that ashram. And thereafter, at times, Gadekar would give talks. But then, when Ghani came first time there in the group at Thad's place, Ghani was very much impressed by these young boys taking so much of interest in Meher Baba. And he made it a regular feature of his life that every day, practically every day, he will come late at 9 o'clock and sit up to 11 o'clock, 11:30. A couple of times he had stayed with us at 1:30, also midnight. We all walked along with him. It was walkable distance where he stayed. So we will drop him there and then come back to our hostel. He had, in fact, taken a lot of interest in this group. That time, Gadekar was detached from our group. He used to come, but then for the purpose of a program, he was focusing on the business class people. They were mostly the business class people, mostly in the business of footwear. And Gadekar was focusing his attention to their programs. And for our programs, for the young boys program, Dr. Ghani used to say, started taking interest with our people. And it so happened that we were, Dr. Ghani had given us everything, whatever he had to give. He had given us everything. He had established such a close relation with Meher Baba. And this news, when it reached Meher Baba through Dr. Ghani himself, Baba started calling this group as Dr. Ghani group. And it was really Dr. Ghani group because we had learned so much about Meher Baba and so much about the Baba's early disciples, so much about Baba's early life, so much about Baba's life in Masjid Amin, and so much about the Ghamela Yog in Mehrabad. All the things he has poured in our ears, Dr. Ghani has poured in our ears, so much so that we had become so very staunch, so very determined in our conviction about Meher Baba. We had that unconditional acceptance of Meher Baba as the avatar of the age. This was a state which all our boys had reached. And those times, whenever there is these elderly people, they were hesitant to call Meher Baba as the avatar. But our group, we were very sharp in asserting that Meher Baba is the avatar of the age. Perhaps I was also one of them, perhaps not knowing what avatar means and what his avataric work is there, without understanding that when Baba says he is the avatar, we would say Baba is the avatar of the age. I remember that once it so happened that in Baba's presence in Guru Prasad, there was a talk about nature, personal nature of we people. And one of my seniors, he had said, he has complained about me that Pratap is very short-tempered person, because whenever anybody says that Meher Baba is Sadguru, then he will just blurt out and say that no, Baba is the avatar of the age. And he will argue in a very he will enter in an argument even with elderly people, asserting that when Meher Baba says that he is the avatar of the age. That used to be that was the complaint against me. And what Baba said that you say he is very short-tempered, but I find him very calm and quiet boy. Whenever he comes to me, whenever he sits before me, he's so very silent and very calm and quiet boy. That is Baba had said about me then. So that was a time, a golden period of our life with Dr. Ghani. And when the Mandali Hall was opened in Mehrabad, few of people from our group, one was Mr. Lakshmikant Thade, another was one by name Krishna Bandilu, and his sister, that is Subhadra. These three were the people who had seen Meher Baba at that time. Thereafter, there was another occasion when all the people of Theosophical Society, they expressed their desire to see Meher Baba, because they were persuading Dr. Ghani to arrange for such a meeting that those people could have Baba's darshan. And Baba consented to that. And during that time also, Mr. L.V. Thade, his younger brother, Krishna Thadi, and one other, Narayan Bandilu, 3-4 people had seen Baba for the second time. And rest of the people had not seen Baba. And Baba, in the meantime, in the year 1949 or so, Baba declared that he is going on new life. And the information was being received by Gadekar. Gadekar used to communicate the whole thing to us. And the young boys of our group, I was not among them because I had not that much of feeling that. But then other boys, they were so very uneasy hearing that Baba is going on new life. That means there is no return back. Baba's new life was such that conditions were such that one condition was nobody is allowed to see Baba. Nobody from the old life is to try to see Baba. And once Baba goes in G5, there is no looking back. All the connections with the old life, they were broken off, and Baba was to go on new life. When these conditions were made to understand to all the young boys, they started weeping, actually weeping. Some people started weeping that there is no chance for us to see Baba again. And this same Sule, that person, elderly person, they told him that all that circular instructions are for the old time people, but you are just young people. You have come in recently in Baba's contact, so that circular instructions are not applicable to you. You can try your luck. You go and see Adi and see if you can arrange for your darshan. And about 7-8 people, in which L.B. Thade was there, his younger brother Krishna Thade was there, Ramchandra Gaikwad was there, Madhusudan was there. All these people, there were 7-8 people. They went to Nagar. First, they went to contact Adi Keirani. And Adi Keirani got wild with them and said that which fool has sent you here? How you can dare come see and ask for Baba's darshan? Baba is not meeting anybody, Baba is not giving darshan, and you have to just go back. I am not going to listen to any of your requests. Those people were pleading, at least let us see from a distance, but no means no. And then Baba, Adi's mother, Maiji, she said that, why you shout out on these boys, young boys? They have come in so much of hell, so much of hope that you will help them. Instead of helping them, you are just shirking, you are and just firing them like anything. Why you shout on them? If you are not able to do this, but don't shout out on them, and find out some way that these people, these boys, young boys, they do not know the conditions of new life and all that, and they are just newcomers in Baba's group, Baba's contact. So try to help them. If you are not, if you are able to do some help, you try for that, but don't just shout on them. And Adi used to respect his mother very much. That I have also seen. He had a very great respect for his mother. Of course, his mother was really a respectable woman. She was a goddess, I would say, more like a goddess. And then Adi found out a way. He said that now tomorrow morning, I will be taking Baba to from Mehrabad to Mehrabad. And in the evening, we will be returning, and you can stand little away from the edge of the road, because Baba should not doubt that you are standing there for his darshan. Because I am telling you very privately, it is against, in fact, Baba's wish, but Baba has stopped meeting anybody. But then you can try your luck by standing little away from the car road. And I will slow down the car. Baba will be sitting on the front seat, and you can have a glimpse from distance. All these boys were very happy. They said, yes, we agreed to that. The next afternoon, after their lunch, they came about 2-3 hours earlier so that they should not miss this chance. And they kept on waiting there, talking to each other and passing time. And exactly around that time, Madhusudan was getting very much upset. He said that now it is very difficult for me to wait anymore now. Let us go, let us return to our houses now, because there is no possibility of seeing Meher Baba. And when Madhusudan, he was just insisting that they should return back now. Somebody spotted the car, and they said, "No, there is a car coming." They are during those days, there were very, very rarely a car will be seen on the roads. The roads were there not much of traffic on the road, and after hours and hours, one car will be or one bus will be spotted. So this, looking at this car, they felt that this must be the car, and they all gathered attentively, looking at the car, and the car passed. They were at a distance. The car passed. Baba was sitting in the front seat, and everyone was excited to see Mir Baba's face, a beautiful face. But then, as promised by Adi, he had slowed down the car a little bit. But then the car went ahead and stopped there. To the surprise of all these boys, the car stopped there. Adi came out and called all these boys. And all the boys, and Madhusudan was, in fact, uh, in the state of fainting, as if he will faint and fall down. Somehow he was taken by other people, supported by other people. And then Baba made them very happily. Baba caressed them, and Baba said, "I am very happy to see you all. Now you have seen me, love me, and you should return to your houses." Madhusudan at that time, Baba said that my nazari is on you. And then all the group, very happily, they returned to Pune. And then car passed. Thereafter, Baba went on new life. When Baba went on new life, Baba had taken Dr. Gani along with him. And so the contact with Dr. Gani was also broken for some time. This after the programs were going on as they were started, the program had the place of different places, different shops, on different days, different times. The programs were being conducted as they were being conducted at that time. Only that the difference was that Dr. Ghani was not with us. He was not there to give talks to us. But we were managing ourselves, and the bhajan programs used to be there. But then in the year 1950, exactly after 1 year, in the year 1950, on 16th of October, Baba had started his new life on 16th of October 1949, walking from railway station, Ahmednagar railway station, towards Shirur. The first stop was at one place by one township by name Supe. Anyway, that is a different thing. But then, after 1 year, Baba had called a meeting in Mahabaleshwar on 16th of October 1950. That time, Baba's old life people whom were Baba had broken all the contacts with them until this time, they were allowed to come for that meeting. Along with them, young boys like us who had not seen Baba before, they were also allowed to participate into that program. And it was a grand function in Aga Khan Bungalow. Aga Khan Bungalow it was a very spacious bungalow, very big bungalow. For you people to know about Aga Khan is supposed to be the chief priest in a community called Khoja community. That is one of the part of Islam. This Khoja community, this Aga Khan was the chief priest of that community. But then he was a very big, very moneyed, very rich person, very rich person. He has several bungalows in practically very big cities. So this Mahabaleshwar, it is a hilly station. At Mahabaleshwar, he had a very large bungalow. And that man, Aga Khan, was very much fond of horse races of horses. He used to maintain horses. He used to have some sort of experiments of crossbreeding and all that. And he was very much maintaining very big activities with these horse racing, preparing horses for this racing, and also indulge into playing on that horse racing. He had a compound, big compound for keeping these horses. It is a stable, horse stable. And this meeting was conducted there in that stable. Before that, Baba had a plan just before Baba gave up this new life, or Baba abandoned the outward activities of the new life. Baba had a plan to have a masashram there in that stable. There were 40 houses, small huts, which were constructed for keeping one must in every 40 musts were to be brought. Baba had selected 9 people for bringing 40 people, 40 people. They may be conscious of their body and they may not be conscious of it. They may be on the spiritual path. They may be saliks or they may be majubs. Such people, Baba had asked 9 of his murdering people to bring for that ashram. But then these senior people could not find out suitable persons for that matter. And thereafter, Baba had utilized these for some poor people, poor work. In that area of that stable area, Baba had held that meeting of 16th of 1950, exactly after 1 year. Baba was sitting on a very simple wooden chair, and all we were sitting in front of Baba. A large closed compound was there. There was a big door. That door was closed when this meeting was started. And all that meeting for 4 hours, that meeting took place there. Baba had given sermon there in that meeting. In that meeting, people like Pukar had met Baba for the first time, and Dr. Donkin had read that sermon before all the people, and Baba had, with his own hands, Baba had given distributed that sermon to each and every one of us. I still have that copy with me. So that was a great meeting which Baba had held there in that compound. And thereafter, we all went to our respective places. After in the around 1951, Dr. Ghani was sent back because of his health conditions. There were 4 people who were sent back from the New Life. One was by name, he was an elderly person, somehow that Baba Das.
Daulat
And
Singh?
thereafter, I think Baba Das, his name was Baba Das. He was from somewhere from he was from Maharashtra only, but his most of the life was in the northern India. He had done a lot of work for spreading Baba's name in that area. In fact, Dr. Daulat Singh was one of those who had heard about Mir Baba from his mouth. So that was Baba Das. Thereafter, Dr. Ghani was there, Adi was there, and 4th one was Patil. These 4 people were sent back, and thereafter, Dr. Ghani resumed our meeting, coming to our meetings. He resumed, and thereafter, early time before going to New Life, Dr. Ghani used to speak about his early life in that locality of Baba House, Butler Mulla, that used to be called as Butler Mulla, or now thereafter the name was changed to Dastur Meher Road, and now it is Dastur Meher Road. Baba House is still there, situated in that area. Baba's family house is there, and when Dr. Ghani came back from New Life, he was sent back because of his health conditions. Because thereafter, the life was to be very tough life for all of them, and that had proved to be very, very tough life for all of them. But then these 4 were sent back, and Dr. Ghani resumed his talks with us, resumed coming to us, giving talks. This time, early time, he used to talk much about Baba's early life and Manzil-e-Neem time. But then when he returned from New Life, his talks were based on Baba's new life. Several incidents which he had told us, and we were listening to his talks late in the night. They were so very interesting talks that they have made a very deep impression on all the minds of the young boys. So much so that
इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के मालिक कौन है, मैं या आप?
sorry, I don't get it too. So that
you ignore.
that
Somebody was talking, so I just muted them. So you can ignore.
is it? I see. So thereafter, of course, we were listening to Dr. Ghani's lectures so keenly that right from Baba's early age up to Ghani passed away, we had heard much about Meher Baba. The Baba, Dr. Ghani used to tell so many stories which he used to call as boxing behind the curtain, andar ki boxing, that is boxing behind the curtain. He used to talk about the personal nature of each one of Baba's Mandali, and he used to talk about his relation with Mir Baba so much so that all that information we received through Dr. Ghani. It is a really boon for people like us that made a deep impression of Meher Baba's personality, Meher Baba's greatness. We could understand through Dr. Ghani. Now, next time I will be talking about how Ramakrishna came into this group and how the whole structure of programs was changed. That topic I will take next time. Today, I think we are just coming to the close of the time. We have still to take Aarti. I will sing Aarti today, Divya Sanatana Paramadaya Ghan, but Aarti composed by Madhusudan. And then we will take the next topic next time. In that topic, I will talk about how Ramakrishna came, K.K. Ramakrishna came. See, the story of Ramakrishna is a very, very, very eventful, I would say. So that will also be a very interesting story for all of us to understand. That will be taking next time, and it may go for a couple of sessions like this. So today, I just we will conclude with Aarti Divya Sanatana Paramadaya Ghan. जहाँ कल्पना शब्द न पहुँचे ऐसे अपरंपार मेरी नेत्री वेद पुकारी महिमा तोरी अपार दिव्य सनातन परम दया घन दिव्य सनातन परम दया घन हे जगदोद्धारो मेहर मन आरती स्वीकारो मेहर मन आरती स्वीकारो धूप दीप चंदन चरजाना भोग लगाना फूल चढ़ाना तुम्हारा ही तुमको लौटाना काहे आरती स्वीकारो मेरे मन आरती स्वीकारो सकल निधि के तुम कारण हो सकल विश्व तारनहारे हो तुम सम और नहीं तुम ही हो हे सत्य अवतारो मेरे मन आरती स्वीकारो मेरे मन आरती स्वीकारो सकल चराचर तुम्हारी माया माया भी तो तुम्हारी छाया तुम्हारा अंत न कोई पाया तुम अनंत करो मेरे मन आरती स्वीकारो मेरा मन आरती स्वीकारो अपने को जब जो नहीं जाने महिमा तुम्हारी क्या पहचाने जो कुछ भी कहते अनजाने गुण गाते तुम्हारो मेरे मन आरती स्वीकारो मेरा मन आरती स्वीकारो सीमा नाही तुम्हारी कृपा को क्या कोई दे सकता प्रभु तुमको भीखत में दो प्रेमी जनों को नित्य तुम्हें सुमिरो मेरा मन आरती स्वीकारो मेरा मन आरती स्वीकारो दिव्य सनातन परम दयाघन दिव्य सनातन परम दयाघन हे जगदोद्धारो मेरा मन आरती स्वीकारो मेरा मन आरती स्वीकारो the thin voices of my grandson. His name is Advait. His voice is very sweet voice. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you so much, Pratap uncle. Yeah. Any questions, comments?
Any questions, any queries, anything to say?
So, when you talked about Mahabaleshwar,
Yes,
October 16th, 1950,
yes,
in the stable for the 4 hours, you
yes,
you talked very, very briefly about Pukar. And of course, that was the day and the time when Pukar finally got to go before
yes,
Baba. So another time,
yes.
maybe you can expand on that and just share in more depth Pukar's story and his experience.
Yes,
Can you do that for us
I'll
sometime?
keep. I'll keep in mind. Next time I'll say
Dhanyavad.
about it.
Dhanyavad.
Yes. Thank you.
Jai Meher.
Jai Jai Babaji.
Anybody else? Any quick queries, thoughts, comments?
Pratap Kaka, it's nothing to do with this meeting, but I want some clarification from you because someone asked me about handing over the first edition of Upasni Maharaj Life to Gandhi. I still remember that Soma Desai's first was in Gujarati edition was presented to Gandhi. When was Marathi edition came into the translation came? Do you have any idea about that?
You mean Aarti of Upasni Maharaj?
No. The Upasana Maharaj's life history was translated by Soma Desai and it was printed in 1923 and it was given to Gandhi. But somebody told me, no, that's not Gujarati edition, that's Marathi edition. I think it's only Gujarati edition as far as my knowledge goes.
I am not very sure about it.
Yeah, of course. But that Urdu edition was Gani and Ramju was directed to distribute near the mosque.
Mm.
But I didn't know. I was because, as far as my knowledge goes, only Gujarati edition was given to Gandhi in 1923. Immediately was printed.
Yes.
But when was Marathi edition came then? Because somebody was translating about that, so he asked me. I said, as far as my knowledge goes, only in 1923, the Soma Desai's Gujarati edition was presented to Gandhi.
It must have been in the Marathi only.
Yeah. Because
Yes.
1922 it was given to this thing, and Soma Desai did it in Gujarati because that was written even in Lord Mayor also. But
Yes.
the Yerravada jail record shows is the Marathi edition.
But I tell you, even all the Bawal Mandali,
Yeah.
they knew Marathi so well. Baba's family, even Baba himself, you will not believe, but Baba himself had such a deep knowledge about the Marathi. Not only that, but even the Gauthi Marathi. You understand what I say? Village Marathi.
Village Marathi.
Yes. Even that. And that there had been some incident when Baba had told one very specific word which only the village people know, only the illiterate people know. Such was Baba was so very expert in knowing about Marathi, and with us always we used to talk with Baba in Marathi only.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Baba used to use Gujarati very rarely, not very much. Only on certain times, certain incidents we will speak. I mean, attend Gujarati.
Yeah.
And even Baba's family, Mani was expert in Marathi. Baba's all brothers, Jal, he always used to talk with us in Marathi. Yeah. Baba's Beram also used to talk with us in Marathi. So all these brothers used to talk with Marathi, except that Adi, who was there in London. Except that, father of our great Dara.
Dara, yeah. Adi Junior.
And Adi Junior. Adi Kaka senior, he was very expert. He was
True.
so much expert in Marathi.
Yeah.
Yes, he would talk with us in Marathi.
Yeah.
So all these people used to talk with us in Marathi, and we also used to talk with them in Marathi. In Guru Prasad, only certain incidents when very rarely Baba used to use Gujarati language. Otherwise, with all of us, it was in Marathi.
Yeah.
Gani used to talk in Hindi.
Yeah.
Gani, he knew Marathi, but not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much. Ramju Bhai also knew Marathi. He used to talk in Marathi also, Ramju Bhai. Ramju Bhai's Ali, son Ali, who recently passed away, he also used to speak good Marathi. So all the people around Mera Baba, they knew Marathi well.
I'm jovially telling Pratap uncle should have talked Telugu also. That should have been better because he's the son-in-law of Hyderabad. Marathi is from Hyderabad.
Yes, and that they sing nice, eh?
Yeah.
Nobody can make out whether these are Telugu people who are singing Marathi
Especially
songs.
Meher Tej.
Yes, so very perfectly nice they sing. So
Thank you, Kaka.
thank you so much, Ganesh.
Thank you so much, Pratap uncle. Thank you for this beautiful evening. Thank you for sharing the treasure we all enjoy. Thank you and Jai Baba. Everybody can unmute themselves and we'll say 3 times Avtar Mer Baba ki Jai. Yeah, everyone can unmute themselves. Avtar
Meher Baba ki Jai.
Jai.
Avtar Meher Baba ki Jai.
Jai.
Avtar Meher Baba ki Jai.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jai Baba.
Thank you.
Jai Baba.
Baba ki Jai. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Baba, Baba.